Nothing like waking up for sunrise just to shoot black and white. Yeah. Hey, how's it going? I'm Adam and welcome to my channel. Before we start with the video, I just want to say sorry if my voice sounds weird. I'm currently getting over a cold. Gotta love flu season. Anyway, today we'll be talking about Fuji Neopan Acros 2. Believe it or not, Fuji had a wide variety of black and white film, and in 1952, that's when it started. Back when Doris Day's hit song When I Fall in Love was on the radio, The Adventures of Superman was on the telly, Fuji released Neopan SS. It had orthopanchromatic sensitivity, and it boasted an unusually high ISO for the time, 100. This film lasted a pretty long time, especially for Fuji standards. It was discontinued in 2011, so it lasted 59 years. We also had Fuji Presto 400 and 1600, but sadly, they got the boot. We also had Neopan 400 CN, which was a chromogenic black and white film stock, just like the GOAT Ilford XB2. But sadly in 2020, it got the boot. Yeah, that one hurt, I'm not gonna lie. Then we got the OG Acros, and in 2019 we got the final and only black and white film stock by Fuji, Neopan Acros 2, Attack of the Clones. On Fuji's website, it apparently provides outstanding sharpness, rich gradation, wide exposure latitude, excellent reciprocity characteristics, and features the superfine E-grain technology. Anyway, more on the film later. I have never tried Acros 2, so I'm curious. I went to a nearby lake waiting for sunrise, but sadly, it was cloudy. I should have checked the weather app the night before, but just like Freddie Mercury said, the YouTube video must go on. It's freezing, I literally can't feel my fingers. Well, the cloudy weather and low ISO film gave me an underexposed image a bit, but don't worry, it will get better later on. Let's talk about the ISO. As you can guess by looking at the box, this is a 100 ISO film. Not the best choice for my shooting conditions, but I digress. Now, for you night photographers, this might actually be the film stock for you. It requires no adjustment in shutter speed up to 120 seconds, which is really impressive, seeing as though as most film stocks, reciprocity kicks in about 1 second. Now, I'll explain reciprocity failure in a later video, but in short, if your light meter shows that you need to go above, let's say 1 second, because that's where most film reciprocity failure kicks in, then you're gonna have to whip out the calculator, do some math, and actually calculate your correct exposure. My brain hurts just thinking about it.
We stand by the fire, your tiny hand in mine. You're 5 feet off the ground. You rest on my shoulder. The stars convey the light, so fragile in the night. In this moment, in this moment.
What is orthopanchromatic film? In order to understand this, we need to understand what is orthochromatic and panchromatic. Orthochromatic film sees blue light and renders red much darker, which results in darker skin tones. Panchromatic film, the most common type of black and white film, sees a wider spectrum of light, rendering black and white tones closer to what we see in everyday life. For example, HB5 is panchromatic and Ilford Ortho Plus is orthochromatic. Now, Acros is orthopanchromatic, which means that it's in the middle. Indecisive, meaning that the spectral sensitivity doesn't go too far off to the red end. This has to be my favorite off the row. I feel like this is the shot that only Acros can give me. I love the contrast, fine grain, and isolated subject. But it could do without this wooden thing here, but hey, you can't win them all. Now, I don't know if you can tell by the video, but I am literally freezing. It's windy. It's windy.
The trees, they are singing to the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn. The voice of the robin, the call of the dove, the red leaves are falling, the barn owl is calling, the welcome of the dawn.
Let's talk about the grain. Thanks to the high quality film plus the 100 speed and add the 120 format, and the grain really is subtle and pleasant. It really gives you a sharp and smooth image. I also wanted to mention that this film stock is really popular with portrait and wedding photographers. It's pretty much their go-to black and white film stock. But then again, what do I know? The last time I shot in the studio, I think Twilight was still playing in theaters. Wow, just when I'm about to finish the roll, the sky is finally coming out.
It's turning colder, soon the falling of the frost, soon the summer will be over. You feel the change is closer at the welcome of the dawn.
Alright, so that was the last shot of the row. Sadly, I gotta get to work. It's Monday. So yeah, gotta love the Monday grind. Getting that bread. Cool, 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 cool. And that's the end of the row and the video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. My final thoughts on Acros 2, The Wrath of Khan, is why haven't I tried this before? I definitely can see adding this film stock in my future photo trips. Now, I gotta admit, I really had terrible conditions, no light, very cloudy, and just in general a blah scene. Plus, throwing the low ISO for that condition, I was still able to come up with some usable and even some decent images. Also, if you edit your photos, this film stock really gives you some room to play around and actually make the photos however you want it. Or in my case, just save the photo. Also, I can see why this is a professional black and white film. It's sharp, clean, great contrast, and really pleasant grain. But the downside of professional film, it usually comes with a professional price tag. Yeah, I nearly paid 13 euros for mine, and that's a lot. Anyway, this film stock is available in 35 and 120. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Like, subscribe, do all that jazz. And if you're wondering how I got this cold, it is because I had no scarf, just a baseball cap while I was making that video. I paid for my stupidity. Take care.